What do you mean by production? I will give an example. Iron chain. Okay, a chain made with the iron. Is it creation of iron chain? Will you agree the statement? Production means creation of goods. Is it correct statement? Why no one is? Okay, I will call Vishal Ajay. What is your opinion? Production means creation of goods. Is it right statement?
Yes sir, correct sir.
மகேஸ்வரி நீங்க சொல்லுங்க.
விஷயத்தை ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்றது.
ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்றது கிரியேஷன் ஆஃப் குட்ஸ். அது நீங்க கரெக்ட்ன்றீங்களா ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்?
Yes sir.
Yes, Maheshwari also saying yes. Vishal Ajay also saying yes. Jagan நீங்க சொல்லுங்க சார். I think I is connecting the audio. Okay, Soumya madam நீங்க சொல்லுங்க. Production means creation of goods. Is it true or false?
Manufacturing of goods, sir.
I'm making a statement, say true or false. Production means creation of...
False, I think. Partly true.
Partly true. Then what is the other part?
It's manufacturing of goods.
Manufacture. Okay. Production means manufacturing of goods. What do you mean by manufacturing? Creation.
Creation is somewhat like invention.
Idea nalla irukku, innu konjam nalla solunga. You are in right track.
Invention or innovation, something.
Innovation.
Something you innovate. That's called a creation, I think.
Created. Okay. To some extent, I'm exact. But what I want to say, normally production means people will say creation of goods. That is the literal statement. But in economic sense, it is not so. That's what I'm trying to mean. Here, we are just changing the shape of the material. For example, say a blacksmith. He is as you said, he is manufacturing the iron chain. Do you think he have created that? No. Already the iron is a source of nature gift. He is just changing the shape and make it more utility, having more utility. He is creating the utility or usefulness of the product. He is not creating, he is just changing the shape. I can say another example. Suppose a carpenter is there. He is producing a chair. But he is not producing a chair. It is not a creation of chair. It is only changing the shape of the wood. Will you agree? மரம் அவரு கிரியேட் பண்ணாரு கிடையாது. மரத்தை சேரா மாத்தினாரு, இரும்ப சங்கிலியா மாத்தினாரு. அவர் வெறும் மாத்துறது மட்டும்தான் செய்யறாரு. I hope you will agree. இல்ல உங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது செகண்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் இருந்தாலும் நீங்க சொல்லலாம். ஏன்னா நாமளுக்கும் எக்கனாமிக்ஸுக்கும் உள்ள வித்தியாசத்தை நான் சொல்லணும்ல. எக்கனாமிக் சென்ஸ்ல கிரியேஷன் வரக்கூடாது. கிரியேஷன் வந்தான்னா இட்ஸ் சம்திங் டிஃப்ரெண்ட். Then how you have to say? It is only increasing the utility of the commodity. It may be just changing the shape or changing the place or changing the time, nothing more than that. So utility is a key word used in economics for the production. In order to increase the usefulness or the utility of a particular thing, then we used to call it as production. Will you agree? That particular utility is of three forms. One is the physical change of physical form. Second one is place utility. The third one is time utility. I will repeat again. There are three types of utility. One is form utility. Second one is place utility. And the third one is time utility. Based on that only, we are creating a product. Not creating, we are producing a product. So where we get all these things, there are four factors of production. What are they? Land, labor, capital, and organization. So based on these four, we are getting things and we are changing the shape or a place or a time. Then we are calling that is called production. Now I will share the screen. If you have any doubt, you can stop me. I will give the explanation. First, I will give definition for production and then meaning. What I said is the meaning. There are many definitions. I'm giving which is mostly used. I haven't given any particular author thing. This particular thing is given by Alfred Marshall only. Production is a process or method used to transform. The word, very clear statement, is transforming what type of tangible inputs or intangible inputs. That is, if you see or touch, then it is tangible. If you feel or if you only service product means it is intangible into the required output. So conversion of raw material into finished product is nothing but production. I will say production is a process of converting the input into the required output. So this is the definition for production. Now coming to the actual part of in economic sense, how we have to explain. Normally you have said, nah, production means creation of goods, but it is not. A blacksmith is producing the iron chain and the carpenter is producing the wooden box. In economic sense, the view is different. How it differs? The blacksmith has changed the form of the iron, which is free gift from the nature. Am I right? Where we get the iron ore from the earth, and he is just making some changes and he make the chain. So he just changed the shape. So production means transforming the input into output. He is not creating, he is transforming the raw material into finished product. Likewise, carpenter is changing the shape of the wood. Where we get the wood, it is a gift of nature. In both cases, production is not a creation of goods, but it is understand that it is already existing, that we are changing the shape and make more useful and having more utility value. That is why the man is using the thing extracted from the nature and provide a new form in order to make a more useful. I hope you understand. So how we can say, in easy words, is we can say, or in other words, creating more utility is called production. You understand what we mean by production? Creating more utility is called production. So we are having a new term, key term and important term in economics is utility. Based on this one only, we have to understand the production analysis, how to construct the production function, what are the production policies, how we have to make the production planning. All these things, keep it in mind. We are not creating, we are only increasing the utility of that particular thing. There are three types of utility, as I said earlier: form utility, place utility, and time utility. I'll give you an example. It's a very clear statement. By changing the shape of the thing given by the nature is called form utility. Example, iron ore into the steel and wood into the furniture. It is called changing the form. What is the second one? Place utility. Changing the place of a particular thing, moving the things where it is abandoned and where it is scarce. So where it is available, it will be distributed. For distribution, it is called production only. The third one is, at the time of scarcity, we have to make use of those things. So at the time of abundance, we will save. The saved one will be spent at the time of scarcity. That is called production. We may say saving is considered to be the future expenditure. Am I right? Why we are saving? In the future, we have to spend in a heavy manner. Am I right? I want to buy a house. I want to buy a jewelry. I want to buy a vehicle. For that, I'm keep on saving. Once it reaches 1 lakh, then you go and buy the vehicle. So what is the purpose of saying? In order to make the future expenditure. Likewise, it is a time utility only. What does it mean? At the time of abundance, we are keeping those resources and it will be released. At the time of scarcity, it is also called production. So production in economic sense, it is nothing but increasing the utility. That utility is of three forms: physical, place, and time. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, because I'm going to continue. Do you have any doubt in this? Because I'm giving different view now. What you think so far is a layman view. Now I'm asking a professional view. That is, being an economist, how you have to think. Production means it is a changing of shape, or it is based on the place and based on the time perspective. We are increasing the utility of that particular thing. Now let's start with the factors of production. Understand one thing. In this world, manufacturing is a key word. How to manufacture? We have 4 factors of production. Those 4 factors, starting from land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship, we may say organization. For each factor, there will be some criteria of remuneration. When you use the land, you have to pay the rent, because that area that you are using, floor area, land area you are using, for that you have to pay the rent. Suppose you appoint an employee, that is the labor, then you have to pay the wage. Suppose you are investing, capital you are utilizing, either borrowing or lending, the remuneration is interest. The 4th one, organization, in order to make the administrative or business decision of or all these things, you are reaping the profit. So the remuneration for the organization is profit. I will repeat again. Rent for land, wage for labor, interest for capital, and profit for organization. So this is the factors of production. There will be a section B question, explain the factors of production. It's nothing but you have to explain about these 4. So I have to see what are the features of respective factors of production. Most of the people think that land area cannot be changed. Certainly not. There is every possibility of changing the area of land. There are huge land area is not yet utilized, and some of the land is underutilized. So if those things, if you start utilizing that, then we can increase the value of that. The most important thing is, out of 4, land will appreciate, the rest of the 3 will depreciate. That is the main difference between land and the other factors of production. Suppose we keep a land today, after 10 years, the value of land will increase. Suppose if you appoint a skilled laborer, after 10 years, his work level will be less. Why? Because he is 10 years old. I hope you understand. After, if you bird in hand worth in 2 bush, that means if you have money now, you are rich. But if you keep on the money, it will be spent and it will have only the depreciation value you have to put. If you convert into any fixed asset, then it will depreciate. Car, house, whichever be, except land, other things will deteriorate. So that is a special feature of a land. So for each one, I have given a list of features. Let us see one by one. If you take a land, it is a free gift of nature. Nobody have created that. It is a nature's gift. And understand that the area cannot be changed, but only the utilization will change. The third important factor is land is imperishable. You cannot destroy that. The 4th one, out of 4 things, this is the primary factors of production. The unique feature of factors of production is land. Why? Because it is immovable. Understand that the labor is movable, capital is movable, and organization is movable. But land is a only factor of production which will not, what to say, it will not move. The land is always be there, and the quality of land may change. That is why the fertility I have just mentioned, it differs with the fertility. There are different types of land based on that. Understand one thing, production is not only for industry. There is agricultural production, service production. There are different things are there. So out of 4, the land is considered to be the primary factor of production because it is a free gift and fixed in supply, imperishable, immovable property, and it differs in fertility. So these are some of the feature of the land. But next to land, which has a more power, is the labor. Without him, nothing will happen. But the thing is, compared to other one, it is a little bit perishable because at any time he may leave or any time he will rush. So he is highly movable, and the active factor of production is labor only. Without him, nothing will happen. With land, we can do because it is lifeless, but labor is having a life, and he has some qualitative thing. Intellectual power will come through labor. And another thing, if you take a particular land, that fertility of land of that particular area will be the same. But the thing is, for labor, it is not in that particular group, all are not equal. They are heterogeneous, not homogeneous. One man's skill is not equal to the next man, and it moves from one place to another. And the most difficult task of labor is he is having the bargaining power. Once he understands its value, he will demand more. Suppose once he don't want to continue, he will quit. Once he gets scared, he will behave like a slave. So he is very that particular thing I have mentioned as bargaining power. Why I am saying all these things, it may not be useful for examination point of view, but once you are in corporate, when you know about, when you are strong with the factors of production, it is easy to handle the business. That is why I'm giving in detail about the factors. The third factor of production is capital. Compared to labor, it is a little bit passive. It is a man-made factor. Even this one don't have the life. It's basically with the money. Compared to labor, it has a highest mobility because money will not stay in one place. If you stay, if it is staying, it is nothing but hoarding. அதாவது பதுக்கிறதுன்னு ஆயிடும், பிளாக் மணி ஆயிடும், ஒயிட் பிளாக் ஆயிடும். நீ ஒரே இடத்துல சேர்க்க ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டன்னா அது ஒயிட் பிளாக் ஆயிடும். Third one, this particular thing is, it has a tangency. You can see, or you can convert into other type of asset. We cannot change the land and labor as easy, but this particular capital, it will become a factory. It may become a office. It may become a building, or it may become a machine, or it may become a vehicle. It will keep on changing its shape. Finally, in order to administrate the first 3, we are having the 4th factor of production called organization. This organization is responsible for the efficiency of the first 3 factors. That too, it give more importance for the land, and based on the land only, whether it may use the labor or capital. If you are using the labor, then it is called capital intensive business. When it is using money, then it is a when it is used labor, that is manpower, labor intensive. When you use money, then it is capital intensive. And this is the factor of production which will take the decision. And if you take a wrong decision, you will end up with loss. If you take a right decision, you will enjoy the profit. And this is the only thing includes the intellectual power. This is the combination of labor and a capital. How you are taking a decision under risk situation or under uncertain future period. And finally, as one of my students said, innovation. This innovation will come in the organization factor only. So suppose if they ask about what are the factors of production, you have to write the feature of each and everything, all 4 factors. And now I'm starting with the actual syllabus part of it, how to construct the production function. Production function is nothing but expressing a functional relationship between the input and output. There will be a set of input, and finally it will become a required output. For example, take a car. Car means what are the things you need? You need a engine. For the engine, there are many subparts is there, and you need sheet of covering the banner, dicky, and other things. You need a tire, and you need the petrol, and you need the leather seat, steering. All these things assembled a set of input and make it as a particular shape with the force. That is called required output. That is why production function is nothing but a functional relationship between a set of inputs or a combination of input to the required output. We may say in the other way, production is a process or method in which the physical input are transformed or converted into the physical output. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Shall we continue? Hello?
Sir, yes, sir.
Sir.
அப்புறம் நேரத்துல டிஸ்டர்ப் பண்ணிட்டேன் போல இருக்கு. நான் பாட்டுக்கு பாடத்துன்னு இருக்கேன்.
Sir, இல்ல சார், சாப்பிடலாம் இல்ல சார்.
ஃபாலோ பண்றீங்களா? புரியுதா? எங்கேயா புரியலன்னா நிறுத்துங்க. நீங்க எதுவும் டவுட்டே
Okay, sir.
கேட்க மாட்டேன்றீங்களே. உங்களுக்கு பாடம் எடுக்கும்போது எனக்கு போர் அடிக்குது. ஏதாவது டவுட் கேட்டு டீச்சரை கார்னர் பண்ண வேண்டாமா? Anyhow.
இல்ல இது புரியுது சார். புரியாத போது கேட்க.
So, how to express the production function? It is a functional relationship between a input and output. So Q is nothing but the output, which is a B, C, D up to N is a input factor. So a function of input is the output. It is made as a equation form. You can see in the screen. So now I'm going to give a definition for production function. One particular definition by G.J. Stigler. When they ask in section A about the production function, it may be Cope-Douglas production function or CS production, whichever production function they are asking. First write a definition and then go for the actual production function. So according to him, the definition goes like this. The production function is a name given to the relationship between the rates of input of productive services and the rate of output of the product. I think you understand. That is, it's nothing but he have given a technical word. That is, it's a set of input into output. He is giving the relation and name and all these things. So here we should keep one more thing that we should give. It is an economist summary of technological knowledge. I'm giving one particular information because of this particular definition. G.J. Stigler's definition of production. In olden days, that is in the last century, there are 4 factors of production. But today, the economics includes the 5th factor of production called technology. But you cannot write because it is not in the text. But actual practice, in modern economics, we are included the 5th factor of production. So land, labor, capital, organization, and technology. Without technology, the world cannot survive. So because he is the one responsible, because he included technological knowledge as for the production function. So we included the 5th factor, technology, as one of the factor of production. I will give in a different way. Production function is a statement or an equation which shows different combination or set of inputs and services with the rate of output, the respective combination of inputs in a given period of time and technology. See, in the previous definition, we haven't included the time, but the current definition, this is a modern definition given by Keynes. We have included the 6th factor, time. So these two, you cannot change the word. You have to write what is given. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about how we classify the production function. There are n number of production functions which are broadly classified into 3 categories. What are they? There are some production functions based on the proportion of the input. By considering the input factor, we can classify some production function. The second classification is based on how this input is related to output. So it's a functional relation. Based on that, there are some production function. The third one, the degree of input substitution. That is, we can change, required output will be there, but the degree of input substitution will be Suppose a cot is there for sleeping. It can be made with a wood, or it can be made with the iron. It can be made with the gold too, if he is rich enough. So here the degree of input substitution is differing based on the level of economic status. So production function is broadly classified into three categories. There are some production function based on the proportion of input, and there are certain production function with the functional relation, and there are some production function with the degree of input substitution. But all these things will have a finally, it expresses what is a method or what is a process of converting the input into output only. That is the base, that is a logic, that is an axiom. But classification purpose, we are having different. There are some production function based on the proportion of the input. There are some function with the relation. There are some function with the type of input we have utilized. So degree of input substitution, function relation. So it's only classification, but the logic will not change. What logic? That is a set of input combination is converted into required output. So now let us start with the proportion of input. In that particular thing, we have two categories. One is called fixed proportion production function. Second one is variable proportion production function. Fixed proportion means there is a hard and fast rule for converting the input and output. There are some goods which will not require with the hard and fast rule. We can change the combination of input and make it, for example, medicine, drugs means there will be 250 ml, there will be 500 ml. What does it mean? The dosage will be changing. The first one, for one particular thing, only one particular combination will be there, then it is fixed proportion. But based on the severity of the disease, if we change the dosage, then it is not fixed proportion, it is a variable proportion. For easy understanding, I have given this example. Don't write this example. You write some other example. Fixed proportion means a set of proportion is constant to convert the input into output. The second one is variable. Then coming to the second one, that is the functional relationship. Here, suppose the input and output is having a direct relation, then it is called linear production function or homogeneous production function. That's the proportion of change. இவ்வளோ இன்புட் போட்டா இவ்வளோ அவுட்புட் வரும்னு ஒரு லீனியர் ரிலேஷன் இருந்துச்சுன்னா அது பேர் லீனியர் ப்ரொடக்ஷன் ஃபங்க்ஷன். பட் சம்டைம்ஸ் இட் வில் நாட் பி. இன்புட்டுக்கும் அவுட்புட்டுக்கும் சம்மந்தம் இருக்காது. சிலப்போ மாறிடும், பேக் ஃபயர் ஆகும், இல்லை அவுட்புட்டே வராது. ஏன்னா அந்த காம்பினேஷனை திருப்பி அதே ப்ரொபோர்ஷன் கொண்டு வர முடியாது. அப்போ என்ன ஆகும்? இட் இஸ் நாட் லீனியர். It is some external factors may play in that particular conversion, so it is not linear. Then those production function is called non-linear. We used to call it as heterogeneous production function. உங்களால் ஃபாலோ பண்ண முடியுதா? If there is a direct relation between input and output, is it linear or homogeneous production function? But not only that particular input is converting into output, there are some external factors may taken place, means that is not homogeneous production function, it is a heterogeneous. So we used to call it as a non-linear. Mathematically we may say non-linear, but economically we can say heterogeneous. Now coming to the third one, degree of input substitution. There are different production function. Our syllabus includes only the first one, Cope-Douglas production function. The Leontief and CES, for your understanding, I have given. Okay, so there are three different production function called Cope-Douglas production function, Leontief production function, and CES production function. CES means constant elasticity of substitution production function. Cope-Douglas means C.W. Cope and B. Douglas, two economists from America. They have conducted a survey for more than 23 years, and they have given one linear equation for converting the input into output. That particular equation we used to call it as a production function by Cope-Douglas. Leontief input output model is given by Wesley Leontief, and it will come in the next chapter. I will take, but not as a production function, as a input output decision. Okay, and finally, shall I take Cope-Douglas in the next class? It's already 9. Okay. With this, I'm completing the class. In the next class, I'm going to take Cope-Douglas production function and Leontief. Okay. If you have any doubt, you can ask me now.